The soccer teams are on the verge of conference title games.
And the cross-country teams run for glory.
It's all access, and it begins right now. Welcome to All Access, the show that's just as exciting as Game 7 of the World Series. I'm Chris Devine.
And I'm Cody Decker. Congratulations to all you Cubs fans out there on your World Series championship. You've been waiting for one for a while. It sure was an exciting series. We're going to heighten your excitement right now as we get you into conference tournaments around the NJAC, starting with men's soccer. Chris?
Thanks, Cody. The second-seeded Rowan men's soccer team advanced to the NJAC championship game with a semifinal win over 6th-seeded TCNJ on Tuesday by a score of 1-0. The lone goal came in the 84th minute when forward Shane Doherty followed his initial header to find the net. It was Doherty's team-leading 13th goal and 29th point here in his sophomore season. The Profs had the upper hand in shots 15-7, including 10 in the second half. Goalie Kyle Dennis made 4 saves for Rowan. The Profs' record improved to 16-1-1, and they will host the title game against 5th-seeded Montclair State on Friday, November 4th at 7 p.m.
After a scoreless regulation and 3 scoreless overtime periods, the second-seeded Rowan women's soccer team went to penalty kicks with third-seeded Montclair State in a semifinal match in Glassboro on Wednesday night. The Profs led in shots 23-9 during play, including 9 in the second half. In the shootout, the Profs hit on all 4 of their kicks, which were made by Melissa Kelly, Maxine New, Shelby Money, and Shannon Riardigan. Montclair made only 2 penalty kicks, in which Rowan goalie Courtney Simpson made 2 saves. Final score in the shootout, 4-2. Rowan will travel to top seed and undefeated TCNJ on Saturday night for a 6 p.m. matchup with the conference title on the line. Rowan defeated TCNJ last season in overtime to win the NJAC championship by a score of 2-1.
The Rowan University men's cross-country team was able to take second at the NJAC championships at Stockton University. Senior Zach Helm led the way for the Profs by finishing in 3rd in the 8K course. Kevin Velchi and Edward Fressinger finished shortly after Zach, with Kevin coming in 5th and Edward in 10th. The total team score for Rowan was 42 and only lost out to the College of New Jersey by a 12-score difference.
The women's cross-country team for Rowan finished 3rd this past weekend at the New Jersey Athletic Conference Championships that were held at Stockton University. Diane Ferraro took 12th place with the fastest time for Rowan in the 6K course. She would manage to finish in the 23rd minute, only to be followed by teammate Emily Acton in 13th place. Rowan would finish with a total team score of 82 for the day.
The Profs football team let a 14-12 fourth quarter lead slip away in a 24-14 loss to Frostburg State on Saturday. Rowan running back Anthony Diorio had 11 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Dante Pickney completed 10 passes on 23 attempts for 110 yards passing, and he also added a rushing touchdown. Rowan's defense was strong in the fourth quarter by keeping the Bobcats out of the end zone, but they allowed a field goal which gave Frostburg the 15-14 lead. On the Bobcats' next possession, a 33-yard passing touchdown sealed the game for Frostburg, who also added an insurance field goal late. The Profs fall to 5-3 on the season and 4-3 in the conference. They host Kane University on Saturday, November 5th at 1 p.m. And Cody, another tough loss for the football team.
Yeah, it is, and they are in a little bit of a hole as far as trying to win the NJAC. I don't even think it's possible now, but they are competing, which is good to see, and hopefully they have their home finale coming up this weekend, and hopefully they can get 2 wins to end the season and end on the high note.
Yeah, but right now it looks like the playoff hopes are that the light at the tunnel is dimming ever so slightly.
Unfortunately. For more details on the Cubs World Series win and more, we send it over to Thomas DiNapoli for this week's Pro Talk.
Thanks, Cody. Now to the wacky, crazy, and unbelievable worlds of professional sports. On Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys won their 6th straight at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles. Dak Prescott threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Jason Witten in overtime, giving the Cowboys a 29-23 victory over the Eagles. Carson Wentz had the Eagles in position for a win with another efficient performance, going 32 for 43 with 202 yards and a touchdown pass. Dak Prescott went 19 for 39 with 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. Being the Cowboys scored a touchdown on the first possession in overtime, the Eagles never got the ball in the overtime period. The Eagles traveled to East Rutherford, New Jersey this Sunday to face the Giants at 1 o'clock. Also on Sunday was the WWE Raw exclusive pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. In a night where there were 3 Hell in a Cell matches, the main event is what caught people's eyes. Sasha Banks tried to defend her championship in the first women's Hell in a Cell match. This match was also the first women's match to headline a pay-per-view. After Sasha initially looked too hurt to fight, her and Charlotte put on a match people will be talking about for ages. Unfortunately for Sasha, Charlotte hit the natural selection and won the championship in Sasha's hometown of Boston. Cubs fans have longed to hear it. The Chicago Cubs are World Series champions. Yes, that's right. After a 108-year championship drought, the Cubs finally won the World Series. They had not made it to a Fall Classic since 1945. The win also signifies the end of the curse of the Billy Goat. The Cleveland Indians had a 3-1 lead over the Cubs, but the Cubs were able to battle back and force Game 7. The score was 6-3 going into the bottom of the 8th when the Indians rallied with 3 runs, including a 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run thunderbolt of a home run by Rajai Davis off closer Aroldis Chapman. After a brief rain delay following the 9th inning, the Cubs pushed 2 runs across in the 10th inning with a double by Ben Zobrist, the series' most valuable player, and a single by Miguel Montero. The Cubs then had to hold their breath in the bottom of the inning when Davis hit a run-scoring single to make the game 8-7. However, reliever Mike Montgomery replaced Carl Edwards and got Michael Martinez to hit a slow roller into the infield. Third baseman Chris Bryant scooped it up and threw it across to first baseman Anthony Rizzo. Mike Montgomery registered his first MLB save, and Chapman came out the pitcher of record. Congrats to the Cubs on winning the World Series and producing the best sports story of a lifetime. That's all I have for you on this week's Pro Talk. Later, Cody and Chris have more on the Rowan Ice Hockey team. But after the break, Kevin will sit down with players from the soccer team in this week's Rowan Roundtable. So stay tuned for more All Access.
Welcome back to All Access. Time for our Rowan Roundtable. Joining me are Zach Sakina and Shane Doherty. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Thanks
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
No problem, guys, anytime. So, Shane, why don't we start with you? What if there was any position out there other than your current position that you would want to play, what would it be?
I think it would have to be goalie. I mean, because I don't think I'd be good at it, but it's like the most different from what I do, and I definitely want to try it. So, definitely be goalie.
Goaltender, interesting choice. Not a lot of people would probably pick that, but I respect that.
Yeah.
You have a lot of patience back there waiting.
Yeah.
Zach, how
I
about
have
you?
to disagree. I'd definitely be a center back. Could be like big Will Shawstad, crushing kids, winning all balls in the air with a big 6'5" frame. Definitely a center back.
Like to get after, I like to hit them. I like
Absolutely.
that. That actually can lead into my next question, and I'll continue with you then, Zach. There are some questions when it comes to soccer about just how tough and physical of a game it really is. Do you feel that the physicality of the game is really underrated?
Yes, it's extremely underrated. I mean, we go in to practice preparing like it's a war every day. So, I mean, in preseason, we're punching each other, literally grabbing each other, throwing each other to the ground. We've broke out in fights all the time during preseason, just trying to prepare for the season. We actually lead the NJAC in fouls, and it's not even close. Not even close.
Interesting statistic on the fouls.
Yeah.
So it just shows how physical of a team you guys are. Anything to add?
I mean, yeah, I agree with him. I mean, there weren't actual fights in preseason. Like, he might be exaggerating on that, but
Yeah.
it's definitely rough. And I think that it's underrated in the sense that a lot of the rough stuff that goes on is what isn't caught and what's done when the referee's not looking. So in that sense, that it's a rough game.
Try to see what you can get away with when they have the back
exactly.
turned.
Exactly.
All right, so you guys are off to a great year so far, and you're about to take on Montclair for the NJAC title tomorrow. What do you think the main difference has been for you guys so far this year? What has been the X factor?
I think it's definitely been our mental side of the game and just how we prepare for games mentally, because there's only so much you can do physically, and I think we came in great shape, but we came in good shape last year. But I think that we've changed our mindset, and rather than coming into games, waiting to see what the other team has, we come in showing the other team what we have, and we put it on the other team. So.
Mental preparation is definitely half the battle, as they say.
Yeah.
Got to be ready.
We definitely think that we're the best team in the nation by far, and I think that we go out there and we want to prove that every single time we play. and so it shows on our record. We're 16-1-1 right now. We're ranked 7th in the country. I just think that we're going to keep on rolling all the way to the national title.
Definitely a good mindset to have. Again, mindset's half the battle with these kinds of games. So, Zach, when you reflect about your regular season, now, we'll do this only out of games that you've won so far. Who do you think has been your toughest test?
Definitely going down 2-0 to Montclair out on their home turf. Definitely was a big battle for us. It was extremely physical game. They're a tough team to play anytime. I mean, in the NJAC, definitely our rival. We got a goal back, 2-1, tied it 2-2. They battled, went down 3-2, went up 3-2, and then tied it 3-3, then eventually went on to win the game 4-3. It's a very, very tough challenge for us, and I think that was probably one of our best games of the season.
Yeah, those rivalry games can really test your physicality and also your mental preparation going into it. Shane, what about you? What game do you feel?
It's really hard to pick one out. I mean, we've had a really hard schedule, some really great teams. I guess one that kind of stands out for me is Franklin and Marshall away, because I don't think they had lost an out-of-conference game in a couple years.
Since 2012?
Yeah, something like that. So it was really tough to go out there and play at their place, and it was an out-of-conference game, and we went down 1-0 early. So it's always a battle to get to fight back, and Kyle really saved us. He saved a PK late on in the game to make sure that we won the game. So.
Interesting. Yes, definitely a good battle of the physicality there. So soccer practices, they're known for having different kinds of drills. So out of all the drills you've done in college, or you can even go back to high school, what do you think has been your favorite kind of drill? It can be like for your individual position or as a team.
Just in general, as someone that likes to score a lot, I like anything where we're going to goal. We have this one drill that we do. We call it the one-touch drill, and we set up a field that's a little bit smaller, like a decent bit smaller than a regular-sized field, and we just go to goal. But everyone's only allowed one touch, so it's real quick, real fast, lots of shots, lots of goals. It's a lot of fun. So.
Definitely, man. That does sound fun when you can shrink the field, have a little battle with each other.
Yep.
Zach?
Definitely, I'm an attacking player, have an attacking mindset, love going to goal. Definitely the 2-on-1 to 3-on-2 drill, where we just goals really close together, about like 20 yards apart, just ripping shots, testing Kyle. Kyle makes great saves every single day, like completely amazed by him sometimes. It's a great thing to do, and just a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Good to hear. You know, those drills can really be testing on you guys. So when you think of the state of soccer in the United States, as far as where the Olympic team is at, what are some ways that they can finally get over the hump, get a little bit better, and improve themselves and, you know, make a statement, stand out for themselves in the next Olympic Games?
I just think it really starts with kids, like playing when they're like 4 or 5 years old, really developing their skills. I mean, in England, you have kids getting picked out 6, 7 years old, put in academies, playing every day. I just think that, like, as this sport grows in America, that more kids are going to be playing, more kids are going to get outside, playing together, and you just, as you play, practice, you get better. So that's about it.
Practice makes perfect. That's definitely a good motto to have with any sport, really, particularly in soccer.
It's definitely a tough battle, soccer not being the #1 sport in the U.S., but I think that the main thing is just changing the style of play, and sort of like how we have done with our program, even changing the mindset rather than looking at it as, I mean, we could still be underdogs, but coming at it as a more confident approach, even in the youth system, try and get the kids more confident in an early age.
Definitely, the youth has definitely got to be a factor with it. All right, guys, so we have time for one last question here. Let's make it a fun one.
All right.
What do you think is the most underrated part of soccer? It can be any aspect of it: coaching, goaltending, defense, offense.
It's hard to pick out an underrated part because I love every part of it, but I think that you know, Ryan Logar, the other game, actually had like a goal line save, and that probably gets skimmed over pretty quickly, but it's a pretty awesome feeling if you like save a ball off the end line and you basically save your team's chances.
Without a doubt, yes.
So that's pretty underrated.
Definitely, I can understand that. How about you?
Definitely the thing that gets me the most excited is getting assists. I mean, like, we always look to the goal scorers, but like when you have a really great assist that like you like connected a play, it's the best feeling. I feel way better getting an assist than a goal any day.
Passing is part of the game too. I mean, it's not just our scoring. Somebody's got to be the setup man. Well, thank you guys, but that is all the time we have for today on this Rowan Roundtable. I would like to thank Shane and Zach.
Thanks for having us.
No problem, guys. Like I said, anytime. Let's get some more updates on Rowan updates Rowan Sports, sorry, from Cody and Chris at the desk. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kevin. It's time to lace up our skates and see how the ice hockey team has been doing. Cody?
Thanks, Chris. On Friday, October 28th, the Rowan ice hockey team traveled to Laux Ice Arena to face TCNJ. The game got off to a slow start as Dylan McMurray opened up the scoring for TCNJ in the second period. Rowan ended up tying the game in the third from a Mike McGahee goal. Peter Katz put the Profs up 2-1, but Dylan McMurray added his second goal, making it 2-2. At the 15-minute mark, Alec Nikolai scored, and that was the final, 3-2, Rowan Profs.
And on Saturday, October 29th, the Rowan ice hockey team played host to St. Joseph's University. Rowan went up 1-0 on a Matt Morelli goal at 9:22. 11 seconds later, Brian Keller doubled the Profs' lead. Rowan went on to score 3 in the second and 2 in the third, making the final 7-0. Goaltender Justin Nattiello saw 33 shots, and he saved all of them. For more on this one, let's go to Thomas DiNapoli reporting from Hollydale Ice Arena.
Tom Snappy here reporting for the Rowan Television Network here at Hollydale Ice Arena in Sewell, New Jersey. Rowan defeating the St. Joe's Hawks 7-0. I talked to goaltender Justin Nattiello, who pitched a shutout in today's game, about what he contributed to his success and his playing time this season.
I mean, I got to give it to my team first off, but I mean, I've just been working hard in practice all season, all last year, and I'm finally getting a chance to play, and then I had a real successful weekend, so can't complain.
Last week, we talked to Mike McGahee about how he gels with Alec Nikolai. This week, we talked with Alec Nikolai, how he gels with Mike McGahee, and what he could attribute to his success this season.
Played with him since, high school. We played here actually together all growing up, so just playing together for a lot of years adds up some chemistry, and then, yeah, he's one of my best friends off the ice, too, so I think that plays a part in it. And just try to set the tone for the rest of the team. So hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the semester until he's gone.
I talked to Coach Caulfield today and asked him what he could attribute to his team's home success.
I don't know. I wish we could take some of that on the road with us for sure. We don't seem to get off to as quick a start as we do at home. I'm thinking maybe that's the locker room situation. Guys feel real comfortable in our own building. Maybe it's being able to stay at home later before they get to the rink. Maybe it's just getting too comfortable watching movies on the bus. I really haven't been able to put my finger on it, to be honest.
And that does it here from Hollydale Ice Arena in Sewell, New Jersey. Once again, the Rowan Profs 7, the St. Joe's Hawks 0. Stay tuned right here on RTN Channel 5 all season long for more Rowan ice hockey coverage.
The Profs will travel to Virginia this weekend for 2 league matchups with Virginia Tech and Liberty.
Men's swimming and diving defeated Stevens Institute of Technology 140-122 to improve to 2-0 on the season. Rowan won both relay events. The 200-meter medley team of Joe Furs, Matt Grubb, Nick Marks, and Jesse Novak swam a winning time of 1 minute, 34.97 seconds. Novak teamed up with Nate Wodowicz, Eric Fierstein, and Paul Long to win the 400 freestyle relay. Novak won the 50 and 100 freestyles as well. Anthony Czar was also a winner of the 200 free. John Tepper finished second in the 500 and 1,000 freestyles as well.
The women's swimming and diving team dropped their contest to Stevens Institute of Technology 155-107 on Saturday. The 200 medley relay of Alex Bainbrick, Bailey Howarth, Gabby Gleeger, and Miranda Coughlin came in second with a time of 1 minute 52.05 seconds. The 400-meter freestyle relay team of Paulina Deneva, Julie Sheehan, Megan Miller, and Miranda Coughlin as well finished in second place with a time of 3 minutes 43.77 seconds. Bainbrick won the 1,000 freestyle and 100 backstroke. Coughlin won in the 50-meter freestyle as well as the 100. Sheehan finished in the 50-meter free and fourth in the 100. Daria Minnick was second in the 100 backstroke, and Emily Lubinsky finished in second in the 100 and 200 breaststrokes and the 200 individual medley.
Rowan's field hockey team was able to finish off their regular season on a high note with a 5-1 win at Stockton University this past Saturday. With an ending record of 12-6 on the season for the Profs, they were able to secure a spot in the NJAC Championship Tournament. The Profs were able to get a 4 seed in the upcoming NJAC Tournament and will face the College of New Jersey for their first game. Now, Chris, the Rowan ice hockey team got a really important win on the road this past weekend and 2 big wins on the weekend as well.
Yeah, the ice hockey team's really been rolling well, especially at home. I mean, all the games that we've been at and all the home games, it's something about Hollydale Ice Arena that's really lighting a fire underneath the team, especially when they're playing in front of the home crowd. Yeah,
they're undefeated at home, which is very impressive, and we'll see. They have 2 road trips coming up. We'll see how they do.
We'll see if they can turn into some road warriors.
Absolutely, we could only hope so.
Coming up after this timeout, Lenny Schnee sits down with members of the men's soccer team ahead of their NJAC championship game. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to All Access. I'm Lenny Schnee with this week's edition of Prof Spotlight. Joining me is goalkeeper Kyle Dennis and center back Will Shawstad of the men's soccer team. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, so you guys are having a fantastic season. You're 16-1-1, 7-1-1 in the NJAC, and you're 8-0 at home, representing Rowan extremely well this year. Now, last year you were 16-6, so what did you do this offseason to improve on last year's success?
I mean, for me personally, I feel like Baker and our coaches, they really set up a good platform for us to build upon, like, mentally. And you see that carrying over into the season, like we talked about a lot last year, switching over from the previous records that we've had with just being an okay team, trying to get an NJAC title, but he's really pushing us. I mean, the first time he talked to me, it was more of he mentioned to me winning a national championship, and I never really thought of it like that, and I never thought it would be possible for me to do that. And right from the get-go, he's like, national championship, and you see that, like, now the tides have changed from, like, us being just an okay team in the NJAC, finishing almost, I think we were 8th in the conference the year before I came in, which was 2 years ago, and now we're contenders for a national title this year. And I think that's the biggest thing that's switched over from last year to this year, is our confidence boost from that.
So you set the ceilings very high this year, obviously.
Definitely.
Yeah, and obviously you reached the ceiling this year, Kyle. You had 6 shutouts. What an unbelievable year for you. How hard is it to stay focused when you're out there on the field for those 90 minutes? I know for sure I'd have trouble.
Being focused is just something that you build mentally. Going out there, I'm on top of my game 100%. I have to think of every aspect of things that can go wrong. I have to think 3 plays ahead before it actually happens. And having great players to keep you focused, such as Will Shaw said, Brian Joe back in the back, having Zach Swarbrick, who's having a great year, freshman Ryan Lodar, having them in the back line just keeps me more focused, and having them push me in practice and games to be focused 100% in the games to take it to the next level. Tomorrow we got Montclair, and I have 100% confidence that for the whole 90 minutes, everyone on the team is going to be 100% focused to win.
Now, having good defense in front of you obviously is very important to your success, and sitting right next to you is a Defensive Player of the Year in the NJAC. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Will, what did you do to improve defensively from last year over to this year?
I think the biggest thing that's changed for me personally was I didn't really know what I was capable of doing. I mean, I thought I almost peaked out, like, coming into college. I didn't really know how much more room I could give. Like, I'd go out to, like, the field and train by myself, and I didn't see anything else more I could give. And then when I came here, it was this whole new, what I was talking about, a platform just being built. And now I feel like I've set my bar up so high that I think the biggest thing that's changed is I can find new ways of going about mentally to, like, change up my game to be more of a quicker player. Because when you watch over, like, one of my favorite teams is Arsenal over in the Barclays Premier League in England, and you see, like, players, even the center backs, they're just as quick as the forwards, always, like, on their toes, and they're just smart players. They don't have to be the fastest players on the field, but they're smart, and I think that's the biggest thing for me that's changed since last year.
All right, now, guys, tomorrow's the big night. NJAC Championship, you play against Montclair State University. You beat them 4-3 back on October 8th. What would it mean tomorrow to capture that NJAC Championship to you guys personally? Kyle?
Personally, it's everything. As a team, we've been fighting for this since the last time we won in 2003. And today, our coach, Coach Abbey, said we haven't won this title on our home field in years. And so having 10 years?
20.
20 years.
20 years.
And just having that moment, just to think that we're being in front of our fans on our home turf holding that trophy is just everything. It means the world to us, but it's not our main goal. Our main goal is to win the national championship. It's a stepping, it's a building block, but having that trophy just builds the confidence in us to move forward into the national tournament and take on every team we can face.
Yeah, I think it's the coolest thing for me is because a lot of people are asking, they're like, oh my God, is there a lot of pressure coming into this? And for me, I was actually talking to Shane Doherty, another huge player on the team, actually just this morning about it, and we were kind of just saying how weird this feeling is, how we're going into the finals tomorrow, and it's not like the biggest game of the season for us, when people would think it's like that since the final, like we haven't done it in 20 years, stuff like that. And but for us, for me personally, I haven't beat Montclair on my home field yet. They came in last year. They beat us 2-1. I scored a goal that game, and it stinks how we couldn't actually get that win last year. So that's the biggest thing for me. And they actually ended our season last year in the NJAC, so I want to go out there and I want to show them that the tides have turned and we're on top now.
All right, so going into tomorrow, are there any special pregame rituals you guys are going to be participating in? You know, there's a lot of different things you could be doing, I can only imagine.
I mean, for our team, it's pretty quiet in our locker room. I mean, all up until game time, 5-10 minutes before the game, we're walking out. Actually, we just started a new ritual. I mean, from a lot of people, it doesn't seem like too cool, but we listen to it's like an audio or a music that kind of like talks about just killing the other team, like crushing them like all around the field, like being the best player you could be. And there's like this music behind it, and it's crazy. Like it gets at your conscience, and you're all over the place and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of cool. But I mean, other than that, it's just doing our normal stuff, just going out there, listening to music, getting in our zones, and going out there and crushing teams.
All right, so all business, I presume, for you guys. Now, I have one final question, guys. The women's soccer team is also doing phenomenal this season. Is there a competition between you two? You know, do you guys kind of jab at the women, saying, "Hey, you know, we're doing better," or is it kind of just like, you know, you're happy for each other?
Well, for me personally, it's it's very personal because Shelby Money is an amazing goalkeeper. She's a stud out there. And I mean, I've built a relationship with her the past couple of weeks, and we talk all the time. And the fact that she always brags about being the goalie of the year kind of, you know, it hurts, but I keep bragging to her that, you know, I'm going to have the NJAC and national titles, so she got to keep up.
I think the biggest thing is, like, yeah, we always, you know, we'll be hitting each other with our little spiteful comments here and there, but the biggest thing I think we see in our program more than any other program is, like, since we're both so good, we're our biggest fans, so they'll always be out at our games, we'll always be out at their games, and I think that's just real cool. Like, you look up in the stands, they're calling your name, and you see that every player on the team. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things. It's not too much of a negative thing, you know, like hitting jabs at each other all the time, but I mean, there is those little instances, which is kind of cool.
So you definitely expect to see them in the stands tomorrow night?
Yes, they guaranteed that.
All right, and will you guys be in the stands on Saturday?
Of course.
All right. Well, guys, that does it for this week's Prof Spotlight. I'd like to thank Kyle and Will for being here today. Cody and Chris, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Lenny. Let's recap the field hockey team's NJAC tournament game. Chris.
Thanks, Cody. The Profs field hockey team lost their NJAC semifinal contest with TCNJ on Wednesday by a score of 3-1. Jacqueline Douglas scored off of a rebound in the 13th minute to give the Lions the lead. They would add on to it with a goal from Lexi Smith off of a penalty corner in the 28th minute, giving TCNJ the 2-0 lead at the half. Rowan did not go down quietly, though, as in the 41st minute, Rachel Galante scored on a penalty stroke for her 5th goal of the season, cutting the deficit in half. However, TCNJ would punch their ticket to the title game with Douglas's 2nd goal of the game. Rowan finishes their season with a 12-7 record.
The Profs women's volleyball team was able to get a 3-0 victory Friday night against Buffalo State College. Outside hitter Megan Jacoby led the way for Rowan with a team-high 12 kills, followed by outside hitters Erica O'Hagan and Kaylee Gallagher with 9 kills apiece. Rowan had a 5-4 lead in the first set until a 14-0 run led by defensive specialist Rebecca D'Antonio on the serve provided the energy that the Profs were in need of.
Now, if you've watched ESPN this week, you probably saw the Profs volleyball team make the top 10 plays of the week. In their game against Stevens Institute of Technology, a spike by the Profs deflected off of a Stevens Institute of Technology defender and landed in the basketball hoop in the gym that the game was played in. Now, while the play was highlight-worthy, the Profs still dropped their contest 3-0. Set scores were 25-9, 25-14, and 25-16. Kaylee Gallagher led the team with 7 kills. Erica O'Hagan and Megan Jacoby had 5 and 4 kills respectively, and setter Kat Wolf also had tallied 17 assists and 6 digs.
On Friday, October 29th, the women's volleyball team played their 2nd of 2 games on the day, facing Nazareth College. Set scores were 26-24, 25-20, and 26-24, all in favor of Nazareth. For Rowan, Erica O'Hagan led the team with 10 kills. Kat Wolf tallied 21 assists, 8 digs, and 4 service aces. Middle hitter Erin Keegan chipped in with 5 blocks, and setter Mary Grace Testa had 4 blocks of her own. Defensive specialist Alana Zurich had 12 digs, and Rebecca D'Antonio added 9 digs.
The 5th-seeded Rowan volleyball team was swept by 4th-seeded Kane University in their NJAC tournament first-round matchup on Tuesday. Set scores were 25-20, 25-21, and 25-12. The Cougars were led by outside hitter Joelle Tondi, who tallied 9 kills and 20 digs. Outside hitter Brett Harper also had 9 kills. And middle hitter Jesse Larkin had 8 kills. For the Profs, outside hitter Erica O'Hagan had 10 kills. Setter Kat Wolf totaled 23 assists, and defensive specialist Rebecca D'Antonio contributed 15 digs. Rowan ended the season with a 9-23 record and had a 4-4 conference record heading into the tournament. Did you see the top 10 play of the week?
I did not see the top 10 play of the week, but as soon as I leave here, I'm definitely going to go look for it.
It's very interesting. They bounce it off of a defender, it goes way up, nearly hits the roof, comes down, and lands in the basketball hoop on the other side of the gym.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, if they would have gotten 3 points for it, I'm sure they would have taken it. But.
Absolutely. Well, that's good. I mean, the Rowan football team had a play in top 10 last year off a botch kick. They pick up the ball and score a touchdown. Now the volleyball team gets their spotlight on
Rowan in the national spotlight, never a bad thing.
Love it. With the final horn sounding, that does it for this week's edition of All Access. For Kevin Cornell, Thomas DiNapoli, Lenny Schnee, Chris Devine, and the entire All Access team, I'm Cody Decker. We'll see you next time.
I've been ready.
The soccer teams are on the verge of conference title games.
And oh man.
Good start, good start.
And Charlotte.
All right, we're ready down here.